Yes.
If you are wrapped up well and you
got to, yeah.
Yes, I think so.
Yes, more clothing, first aid supplies,
Yeah.
some kind of reflective communications, and a handheld transceiver, in my point of view, or our satellite phone, and maybe a chocolate bar or something, and stay by the airplane. That's your first shelter. That's ready-built shelter for you.
Yes.
Stay at the airplane and start praying.
Yeah, if you have no fuel
It's
leaks
4
or.
o'clock. Yeah, if it's
yeah,
salvageable.
safe, yes.
And the other thing too is that, there was a deal on TV not too long ago, where they put the actual woman out in an airplane that had crashed to spend the night. But inside the aircraft, and the second thing was the little blanket, the reflective blanket type thing, because that keeps your body heated. And those are really important.
Little pop-up tent or that space blanket thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how much of this is true, but I went to another aviation seminar on survival, and one thing they said was, even if you're in a populated area, it could be hours before they even find you, because a military I didn't do any research, I don't know if this is true. The presenter said a military helicopter went down just outside Washington, D.C., pretty populated area. Took them 4 hours to find that helicopter. And you think it's Washington, D.C., and you're with the military, how could you not be found? But even around here, like you crash in a cornfield, it could be hours. So even you could think, oh, it's summer, it's nice, but can you even survive 5 hours in the winter in the middle of a field, you know?
That could be a real challenge.
Yeah,
And also, one has to keep in mind this whole ELD thing. ELD is not picked up instantly. A lot of times you have to wait for a satellite to pass over to be able to pick it up. So these things, one has to keep in mind the time frame of realistically how quickly you're going to be able to get help. And sometimes it's going to have to be you trying to get the help, not the other way around.
I was just going to ask how many people have tried 9-volt battery with a bunch of SOS to create fire?
Yeah, that's one of the ways.
Has anybody done it?
I've never tried.
You have to have the steel wool there to do it. Oh, we went on you mentioned just quickly, Vince and I went to New Jersey for AOPA 3-4 days. It was really a serious thing. And they showed us how to start a fire out of grass and leaves, and it did not take that long. I was really surprised how fast we had. I don't remember what exactly we did, but I do know it was effective.
Did you all try it?
Yeah, we tried it on each one. Oh yeah, everyone had to do one of these things, and we built the shelters and blah, blah, blah.
How long did it take?
I don't recall, but it was quick. It wasn't hours before. No, it was minutes.
Hour, 2 hours.
No way, it was minutes.
What was the component? See, that's the thing.
I forget. I think we were using lead. That's what was around us. That was the important thing.
But the friction device.
Leaves and underbrush.
What was it again? Was it the idea of rubbing sticks? I forget now. Do you remember that? Or what?
I think it's wood. You use some wood.
I don't know.
Use some wood stick and then do it like that.
The old rubbing sticks.
And then you put
Dry see from the steel wool.
Yeah, right.
Starting
That's right.
Yes, one at a time.
That's one of the things they mentioned, yeah.
You should be able to make a fire out of like PA regular bread. You have like oil from breakfast and stuff.
The what?
You just jam those two like that and sketch up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the batter.
Yeah.
Regular like PA does.
Yeah,
Double layer.
I don't know what a ferro rod is.
It's like a magnesium.
Oh.
Like flint steel.
Pack of matches at a water source.
And don't forget about the battery on the plane.
Yeah, right. Good.
And fuel as well.
Yeah, fuel, right. Be careful.
And both ways. If you are in a point where you need to start fire, don't forget there is fuel that you could use to help with the fire.
You're absolutely right. Sure. That's right.
Just don't make the wing the base of your.
Don't put away under your wings.
Move away.
They find the smoke shop for
We've been flying with iPads and all those electronic devices these days. I see that it's really important to carry enough paper in the emergency case, if you want to set up a fire. or, you know, a map maybe.
Actually, in those lines, I'm thinking we already will have plenty of paper in the, in the aircraft. If it comes to survival, I'm sure I wouldn't mind burning some of my charts for it.
Of course.
That's
for sure.
You're right. Paper is a good, it's a good medium to start fire. I think that's good thinking on what we could use to get the fire going. Easily flammable
or something.
Yeah, I just dropped out of the room, but I think one of the biggest killers in an aircraft crash is fire afterwards. You know, there's light suits out there. You never really want to wear them in the summertime. I don't care like how, you know, safe they are because it's, you know, 90 degrees. You don't have air conditioning. And I'm wearing, this is called dry fire. They're $35, but they're flame resistant t-shirts. And
Oh, wow.
so we, you know,
That is flame resistant, what you're wearing?
yeah, it's a company called Dry Fire. This thing's like $35. So
And will the chemicals in the shirt cause a cancer open for you?
no
Flame retardant part.
So you'll die of cancer.
Fire retardant?
Survive for 3 years and then die of cancer from chemicals in the shirt.
I know they're coming out with
I
a new
didn't
one.
see the,
It's cancer retardant.
If it's cancer retardant, that's gonna sell very quickly.
Well, that's what I heard. I was at a John and Martha King seminar, and they talked about cabin fires, and they said, don't wear polyester because polyester burns and melts.
Oh,
So you should be
I
wearing
can't
all
wear my
cotton.
leisure suit when I
Yeah.
fly?
Huh?
I can't wear my leisure suit when I fly?
No, I'm afraid not. I never had.
Polyester burns are
Right.
terrible on the skin
And it's-
especially,
right.
right? Because it's
Actually,
gonna melt on your skin and singe you.
Yeah.
Polyester is the worst thing you could be wearing.
Many of your synthetic fabrics will do that.
Yeah.
Right, 100% cotton.
And I think that's another thing that one should think about as well, because when you're actually thinking of survival gear, you're looking at warm clothes, wrapping up warm. You know, a lot of the warm clothes that we have right now, synthetic. You know, you've got microfiber and so on and so forth. But then we have to actually, perhaps as pilots, perhaps we have to think about in the event of a fire, how fire resistant is what we're wearing. Is it going to help us, or is it going to seal us down, melting us down and burning our skin? I think that's a good thing to think about.
The other thing that we haven't really mentioned is that, you know, a engine analysis equipment in the aircraft. I have one that, you know, you can put a USB in, it'll take all of the flights and you send them in and you can have that analyzed. And I've been told that they can actually predict a exhaust valve snapping approximately 100 hours in advance, okay, on something like that. So, at least a considerable amount of time before that actually happens.
I don't know if everybody heard what the gentleman here said. So he's talking about devices that you could install in your aircraft that could be good predictors on what might go wrong. Even he's saying you said you could actually.
You can put a USB port, it has a USB port in the engine analysis box that I have. It's called an Oracle. It's fairly expensive, but you can get some that are less. But, you know, it monitors each and all the cylinders. This does the fuel flow and the whole gamut, your electrical and everything. So, I mean, you get as sophisticated as you want. But bottom line is that you can put a flash drive into the machine. It'll download your flights of what the engine was actually doing. And it can predict, by having it analyzed by the proper individuals, up to 100 hours in advance of an exhaust valve snapping. That's what I was saying.
Is it for certified aircraft as long as that?
I'm sorry?
Certified? Use a certified?
Yeah, it's, this is the Oracle.
Because a lot of people in my EA chapter have those, but they're all experimental. They're not non-certified.
Right, no.
But I mean, it's just a common thing in kit aircraft now, because when you're building your own engine even, it's more critical to know all the
Really?
Mhm.
But it's nice to see them certified, you kind of take it for granted, oh, it's just a light homing, blah, blah, blah. It's the same type of, you know, failures and everything.
Mhm.
there anything else anybody would like to add, or shall we wrap up? Well, if that's it,
Just
thank you for
one
coming.
thing I'd like to add, how many